Here's Yazmeen Ryan. Ryan cutting, looking for the shot. Ryan! Houston scores again. Her first in a Dash uniform.
What's up, A-Town and all around? Y'all seen it there? Yaz finally scored her first goal of the season. I'm OSG, you know the voice, you know the mug. And with me as always, and most of the time, is the dynamic Foxtrot Andreas wearing that beautiful cosmic jersey. What's going on, brother?
Feeling good, man. Feeling cosmic, but not after this past weekend.
Horrible weekend across Houston, across all three teams. Dose lost both games, as you know. Dash lost their game, and then Dynamo lost their game. So horrible weekend. 1 point out of all of that because Dose made it to penalty kicks. So they got 1 point out of the four games this weekend. Incredible. So, but all right, man, Andres, I think we got a lot to talk about on this show. So hopefully we can keep the people interested. As I said, people, we got a lot to talk about, so we're going to breeze through the start, just through some news, something that we talked about last time. We're going to talk about the game, and then we're gonna nitpick a couple things that between me and Andreas, and then, I feel like y'all should comment. We'll remind y'all to comment in the comments or whatever platform or on Twitter what y'all think, because we kind of enjoy y'all's opinions as well, your thoughts as well. Then we're going to, talk about that transfer window or that loan window or that transfer market. Trade market. I don't know. You'll have to wait to the end because that'll be the last topic. And of course, we'll end with the roundup. We'll look at the NWSL and who our next opponent is, which is the North Carolina Herd. But let's get it going because, as you heard, it's a lot. But we'll run through it pretty quick, man. Ramona Bachmann playing for Switzerland while at home on maternity leave. People are like, "Was she playing?" Yeah, she's playing because she's close to, it's right there. It's for her country while she's living in her country. So no problem there. She was getting to play too, staying in form, staying fit as well. Unfortunately, took an ACL injury, which means she will be out for at least 9 months. So unfortunate there on her part. Sad news, but benefit of this is she gets to lay at home with the baby now and her wife. So yeah, good news for that. But sad news is she is not going to be playing with the Dash for quite a while. And also, hindsight will probably be she will not play for the Dash ever again. Andres, is Ramona Bachmann ACL tear. Say anything to you?
Very unfortunate, honestly. It definitely sucks that it happened, especially during her international duty.
Yeah.
Especially since she took a lot of time out to just be with family and right away just be available for her country, which is very significant. And like I said, just bad luck, unfortunate situation just to be injured like that. And I guess like the silver lining you just mentioned that she's gonna be spending time with her family, which is always great. But still, just being away indefinitely for a Dash like that, and potentially just we might not be seeing her again because of that. Just disappointing, but yeah, she has been out for so long for the Dash that it's been like I was ready to move on, but still, like nobody should be injured like that.
We expected so much from her, and we really never got to see it. So it's just one of those unfortunate situations, like you said. And healthy return to her. She still may have some time to play some more soccer in her career. This may be the end of it. New wife pretty much recently within the past 2 years, and then now a new baby. I believe they have 2 dogs as well. So this may be the silver lining is. She may just be doing family now and stick to her country for as long as she can, and we'll see. You never know. Ramona Bachmann, ACL tear, out for at least 9 months. We'll see where she goes, and we'll follow her, and we'll wish her the best. All right, so moving on. That was announced, and then a turnaround, and we signed a short-term loan, and we signed Ellie Ospeck, a forward from Notre Dame, who has played with Kiki Van Zanten for the past 4 years as well. Again, she's a forward, 86 matches, 9 goals, 15 assists. So what is that, 26 goal scoring opportunity or goals contributed. in 86 matches, so not a bad number, but not a high number. Um, I'll ask you first before I comment on her anymore. What does this signing mean to you, Andres?
Uh, Classic Dash short-term deal. It looks like it's gonna be for a few weeks, as I understand from the press release, and it could be something good for us. And I like to see her play. I don't want to really judge her until I see her do so, but it's definitely a death piece for the Dashes considering the circumstances.
Which is crazy because somebody said it was just a body. It's a body that we need, and it is a body that we need at that
Yes,
position. But is this a
I
player
was
that?
I was trying to be nice.
Yeah, well, I guess that's you're the good cop today. I'm the bad cop. I'm going to tell it like it is, and I'm
I
going to
don't
let it
blame
out.
you.
Hey, this girl's not been playing with nobody. I don't know what she's been doing.
Yep.
So chilling. She didn't get to find nobody. Again, there's no draft. You got to find your own team. Maybe she sucks at that part of the job, and her agent sucks or whatever. She could be a very good player. But short-term loan, she's going to get the chance. She's already the Dash have already played one game with her on the roster and her being available. She didn't even make the roster or the bench. I mean, so when I saw this and it was short term as well, but even not short term, I just nothing. I'm expecting nothing from her. Anything more than nothing is awesome, and I'll take it. Anything more than nothing is awesome. So if she goes out there, she hustles and she plays and maybe creates something, boom! All right, I like her. I'm already expecting more than what I was expecting already, or getting more than what I expected already. So it's one of those signings. We may not have even heard from her. We may not see her. We just may see her on a piece of paper. For one of the games where she's made the bench, and that's it. You see her warming up, and that's it. She makes a couple photos, team photos, and then boom, she's released again. But you know, you never know. She could be somebody. She could be a talent in the rough, a diamond in the rough. So, played with Kiki though before, so there's already a little connectability. But who knows? We'll see. But all right, moving on. Happy birthday, Avery Patterson. Just yesterday, I believe it was. This is
Happy
Monday night as
birthday.
we're recording. It was Sunday was her birthday thing. I think that's kind of cool. It's her birthday, and she get to spend Father's Day with her father on her birthday. So that was kind of cool. She last time we talked about Avery Patterson, where is she? Where is she? Because she hadn't even been making the bench. What's going on? And she was listed as questionable. She did not make the bench for this game upcoming that we'll talk about here shortly. She was at the game. He did participate in autographs after the game. She was just dressed in normal clothes. So cool that she was there. It looks like she's ready to go and get back into it against North Carolina. So it just was I think it was a little ankle recovery plus all the time she was getting with the U.S. camp as well. I think you mentioned that last time, Andrea. So I hit that one right on the nose. Happy birthday, man. So all those people worried about it, especially that one person on Facebook and Avery Patterson, man.
Yep.
Floor is yours.
Yeah, like it's great that we still have Avery Patterson. Kind of impressive, honestly, considering what we've been through already. But she's just more than a player and a figure for this team, and her importance, especially now for the national team, is very significant. So I look forward to her growth still with the Dash. I hope she stays here for more time because we need her.
Good. You ready to get into the game?
No.
Y'all know the game 3-2. We were down 3-0 before we even scored. It was pretty miserable being there. I'm sure it was miserable watching it on TV as well. But 3-2. Fabrice's lineup was pretty much the same as always. Abby Smith, like we talked about recently, is getting the start. So yes, she is our keeper. We kind of talked about that on last show, and until she's benched, she is our keeper, and no quarrels with her either. She's making saves when she needs to make saves, and then she's kind of put in situations too at the same time. So difficult out there, but she's trying. Defense is putting her in places, but I'm not blaming her for anything right now. The other change in the lineup is Kiki Van Zanten did get the start, her first start, which was awesome. Hey, so Andres, Kiki Van Zanten getting the start. I think you've been asking for it. Mark on Noodle Time, I know has been asking for it, man, but Kiki Van Zanten gets the start. Talk about it, man. You can talk about her game, too.
Just amazing. And her road to recovery, we've been talking a little bit more about that previously. And whenever she'll be able to make her start already, and we got her in this game against San Diego. And it was a long time coming. She's been playing very well off the bench, considering that she was coming off a pretty bad injury last year, and it's amazing and definitely 100% deserved for this game. And there's still a lot of criticism to hand out, but I feel like this is one of the good aspects of this game.
She obviously didn't have no goals or an assist. She played 61 minutes, was subbed out before the goals were scored. At moments when I was kind of watching, she looked a little lost at moments in the first half when trying to put herself in position to make herself available for the next pass. So that's probably something that she's still working on with this team and seeing how she can adapt. But she did have one chance created. She had 10 of 14 passes accurate. So, her touches were good. So she was aggressive to the ball as well. So can't complain too much. She, just got to let her get in tune with the team a little bit more. As you say, she's still growing, coming back from her injury as well. And 61 minutes is the most she's played all season. She had a couple 45 minutes, but it was good to see her. People have been asking for her, so good to get her in the mix and part of this rotation and this midfield and forwards or whatever, trying to find who can score the goals and who can put them in the net for us. So, good outing, worked out. I know she's been a favorite for Greece here the past month, and she's been doing well for her Jamaican team as well. So, hey, keep it up. She actually, did pretty well. She had a good rating too, as well. Just a little bit lost on some positions sometimes because you would see or maybe it was just the passer just putting an errant pass out there, and it was the passer that was miscommunicating with the runner. But so good for Kiki Van Zanten. Otherwise, Abby Smith gets a start. But man, something about this game, obviously we lost 3-2. We're down 3-0 pretty early, 3-0 in the early second half. Is the defensive awareness, man. Those goals, some of those goals, and I know you can see it, and you're seeing it in the replay because you're watching to see how the hell did they score that goal so easily? Why did it look so easy or whatever? And it's to me, and I'll ask you if you agree or not, but to me, it's the defensive awareness. We're losing our marks. We're losing our runs. We know the cross is coming in, and you're not putting yourself in a position to be intercepted by a runner who's coming in. You're not being strong to where if that runner does make it in front of you, you're still putting a body on that runner to where that person's header is not going to be so friggin' accurate and into the goal. You let Maria Sanchez friggin' score a header on you. She doesn't score headers. She just usually makes bangers. But, what was that? You're losing your runners. You're losing your marks. And then worst of all, sitting from the press box, going that one way, we're right in the penalty box, right? So we get to see all these crosses coming from the right side to the middle of the box. And then they drive in and they're inside the goal box area almost. And where do they drop it? Right back to the penalty spot or to the top of the penalty area. And who's there? One or two of our opponent and none of us. And then they put the ball in the friggin' net every single time. Or we get lucky and Abby makes a friggin' hell of a save. So defensive awareness is lacking for me, man. I don't know. Do you see it the same, or is there something different that maybe I'm missing, or what's going on? How are we giving up these goals so easily?
There's something that we've been discussing for a lot of episodes, and it's 100% correct. The fact that defensive awareness is just really, really bad. And I had really low expectations for Dash in this game because San Diego, I felt like they were just gonna put as many people forward as possible and find all the openings. And I felt like that's what they did for like the first 40 minutes of the game. And it's really one of the reasons why they've been able to put up the game like really out of reach for the Dash for so long. It's just because they were just like a constant threat, like finding those opportunities to score, and they, like I was just shocked at the fact that they were just like able to move around so easily because the team just looked lost, and it was extremely disappointing for me because we've been I'd say like 2 or 3 years ago we were crediting this team for just being pretty solid defensively, but now it just looks like an all different team altogether because I feel like there's just like this connection, and it's something that we've already discussed, but still, just the fact that we look so lost, we try to play our best, but we are playing like we they put like 4 steps forward, and we're like 5 steps behind them, and it's just ridiculous because we try to give a lot of credit to this team for their improvements or specific improvements over time based on the turnover from last year, and we go to games like these against one of the better teams in the league, and it's really tough to find silver linings here because man, they dominated the dash for almost the entire first half, and it's disappointing.
Well, man, let me ask you this. Katie Lynn is our center back right now. She'd probably be the loudest person on the field next to the goalkeeper. Do you remember when Katie Naughton was playing for us at center back and what a difference it was back there? What's going on? Or do we need the Katie Naughton captain back, or can Katie Lynn find that one, man? Come on, because need that aggression, need that loudness, need that leadership back
Yeah.
there, and get the group together. And I think that's what's missing, and that's the spot to do it. Abby, you can hear Abby sometimes, but I don't know if you agree. Can Katie find her old ways?
Katie's still that leader because she's one of the very few players that goes to like almost every press conference that she gets called or
Yeah.
she tries to explain what happened. And I, although I do agree that sometimes it kind of feels like there could just be like some change in leadership that maybe she says it differently or it's just like that chemistry with her teammates. It could just be different from what we've seen before her maternity leave, and it could be just different right away. But still, I feel like it's. I do agree mostly with you when it comes to just promoting leadership and like receiving accountability for your mistakes, just like improve over time. Because defensively speaking, like we look really bad, and I feel like this is one of the main reasons why we can't really get above the table anymore because the teams just come in and put the game away against us, and we just try to recover.
Getting beat down those wings and then not covering your spaces in the box, man. It's just crazy. But now when we're attacking, and you mentioned the first half where we got outmatched in the first half, but a lot of it was errors on our own side. Can't complete a friggin' pass. Can't connect with the passer or cannot connect with the receiver, whichever one it was at the time. So a note that I wrote down while I was watching the game was the IQ passing and positioning. So one, the IQ passing. There was a couple times where I saw a pass that was made, and I'm watching the runner because you come on, you can tell where the play's going, right? You can tell where the play's going. So you're watching the runner, you see the ball, the dribbler, and then the dribbler, you're expecting, anticipating, and then where the hell was that going? What was that? A pass straight to a defender. A pass that was a run that was not created by the runner that the runner was already making. So those the IQ passing. You got to know where your runners are going and where your runners are going to be, and quit trying to force it. Sometimes they were open as well and could have dribbled a couple more steps, but it felt like they rushed it. And again, this is the first half Houston Dash playing style. Positioning. Now that was some of those runners and their poor positionings, not putting themselves in that position for those players to make those passes to space. So the vice versa was sometimes I saw a couple good passes to space, but not the good run. So, where's that connectability? That's something that even when I was coaching youth, we worked on a lot where we just boom, 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 and put it out to the wing, boom, 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 and put it differently. And just we did it repeatedly and repetitively and just worked on it and focused on it. So, man, again, it's 23 girls, 24 girls trying to fight for 20 spots on the roster, the game day roster, and 11 trying to start. So there's a lot going on out there, but they got to find that connectability halfway through the season now, right, Andres? So what can we do to improve that connectability, the IQ passing, or the positioning? Because it looks good in the second half, but not the first half. So it could be mental. It just, I don't know. It just could be the soccer gods are saying you're going to suck the first half no matter what. In the second half, you're going to play better, but you're still not going to win.
I do think that more of that really comes to the mentality of the team and how they prepare before games and preparation against each specific opponent. Because each team is just gonna be different. They're gonna play like a different tactic against us, or they might just like share the same thing because everything that they throw against us for the most part works. And it really just comes down to, in my opinion, just how they're just able to approach the game mentally. Because you mentioned awareness, and I feel like just having the awareness or know where your team is like half the battle. Because whenever you're trying to defend the ball and uh, offensively speaking, the opponent's just pressing you hard just to make you lose the ball. Obviously, with that type of awareness, especially with your teammates, you try to find an opening to get it to make the pass or create a way as fast as you can. Just and really that that spatial awareness more than anything is it's really concerning for the Dash because we've been seeing like all these games lately and they look so defeated at times, and whenever they're starting to balance out the game, or rather they kind of stopped the opponent from scoring more goals or like taking over momentum or anything like that, they just fall flat and there's no build up of anything, and they just so not just offensively but also offensively speaking, like it's just like I don't think they understand each other too well, and that's why we're not seeing this team in most occasions just fight for those results because I expect the team to just perform like they did against Seattle Rain away from home. That's I feel that was one of the very few examples that I've seen the team just go out, leave their hearts out on the field, just to get that win because that was a very important win at the time. But in occasions like these, and we're still losing games, we're still losing opportunities to prove for the team to prove themselves. Like it's just extremely concerning. Obviously, we've been speaking about this team being new, Fabrice coming in and applying his own vision to what he wants this team to become, and like it could just be a trust the process thing, but it's really hard to convince us to trust the process when there's barely anything to come out of like with a positive, you know. So it's like, did they fight in this game? We did. We can definitely talk about it in the second half, but still, they keep putting themselves in these situations where the other team's just running away with the result.
Yeah, and you mentioned stats, you know, overall stats were 50-50, 11 shots for us, 18 shots for them, but, you know, a lot of those were in the first half. There were quite a few towards the end of the game, too, once they stopped our attack. 10 shots on target. Abby Smith, 7 saves. So obviously 3 of those go in, so that's the math right there, but big chances missed, too. So Abby Smith making some saves and saving our butt because that game could have been really out of control because not 3-0 was out of control, but, you know, we ended up coming back and get those 2 goals, obviously. So, man, 12 corners to our none. We had no corners, which is, man, that's just nuts. But whatever. It's passing was, it was, otherwise the rest of the stats were kind of just across the board mixed, but, you know, San Diego had a few little advantages, you know, but 3-0. You're playing. You're not using your subs. You do make subs. Real quick before we get into the goal, you wanted to talk about that was the substitutions or the lack of substitutions, man. So tell me about it because I'm curious as well. We only used 2 of our subs, I believe. Yes, we did.
Oh yes, only 2 subs, and look, I'm not a head coach. I understand that if I want to apply my own way of thinking, it's just really tough, especially if you've worked with this team for months, several training sessions. You have a good understanding of them. But to me, whenever like a coach just barely uses 3 subs, in this case, we only use 2 of them, and both of them came in the middle of the second half, so it wasn't really like at the start where you were down 2-0. I tried to like open up the game a little bit. I I feel like obviously like Fabricius came out there and adjusted things, which is fine, but I did see Rebecca on the bench, and I was like, okay, we gotta see her now because we don't see her, we haven't seen her yet, and we want to see something new as well as all the players. We still have Alosi there, and Puntingham's still there, and Bell Bree's still there too, so you can just like do a couple things here and there, but really,
Alodia was on the bench.
the first what's up?
Alodia was on the bench as well. So
Yeah, that's what I mentioned. Yeah, like yeah, it's just ridiculous that we have to wait until the 61st minute to get our first sub, and it's like we could have used all this time to get back in the game. I know we scored in that same minute, the minute before, and just to try to get 3 goals, but it's kind of ridiculous to me that if we wanna try something new, put some fresh legs on the field, and try to open up the game a little bit more, especially with the heat in somewhat of our favor. I feel like we missed an opportunity there to capitalize, and I'm gonna say it again. I'm not a head coach. Obviously, they could have a better understanding of the game, but again, I feel like just not using our subs to the best of our ability and trying to refresh the game or just like put some momentum for the dash, inject some energy. It could definitely change things, and mentally speaking, it could just work wonders. So it's weird. It's weird for me.
like you said, Messiah Bright, 62nd minute, and then Christian Westfall subs in the 86th minute for that offensive attacking power, which I didn't understand that there. 3-2, we still got 4 minutes left in the game, plus all the stoppage time. You put in a defender in. You had Michelle Logia on the bench, and you said Belle Breed on the bench, who hasn't got any playing time this year. I don't think. Can't remember. And then the rest were defenders: Zoe Matthews, Sophie Smith, Sarah Puntingham, Rebecca, and Campbell were on the bench. So technically, you really didn't have many attackers you could have used. Alosia and Breed could have been done something different that you could have put on the pitch to try to get that 3rd goal because the team ran out of gas, obviously, in the 70-something minute right there after they scored their 2nd goal. So. And Alosia brings pace, so she could have been used at the end of the game and put her up there with Bright and then let them both do their duty right there. But it is what it is. But we did get 2 goals, as I previously mentioned earlier. One from Barb and one from Yaz, who finally got her first, as you heard from the intro into the show.
I'm
Barb with her goal.
like honestly like it's no. I'll obviously no bias or anything, but basically,
You see that every time.
literally nobody saw that goal coming at all because
No.
I was watching the game on TV and just the distance that Barb took the shot. It obviously is gonna be pretty tough to make it from there. And there was just enough power that the ball was just like able to go straight into the far post, but still bounce on the grass like a few times, and then it bounced for like a couple seconds, and then it hit the far post and then in, and it was such a surprise. So the commentator was like, he didn't even yell or expect the goal. He was just like, "Oh." I was like, all right. Man, what out? You could call that a banger. That was a banger, man.
Yeah, that was half of a banger because it didn't have no rocket power behind it, but it had just enough. As you said, it skipped
Yeah,
on the floor and the keeper stretched out for it and just missed it and then hit the post and goes in, like you said. So, and 61st minute. So you're like, all right, hey, here come the dash that we know all season. They can fight back in the second half, but we are down 3. Now we're down 2. So let's go, firepower. But Barb, what a shot. She did take one like that earlier and completely missed, but she got the opportunity again. And I kind of like where she's positioned because I believe it didn't come off a corner kick. What did it come off of? Some kind of cross. I don't know why she was laying back that far, really, though. But yeah, it was a shot or something like that. Who knows? I have to go back and watch to remember it. But what she was doing back out that far in that space whenever we're attacking was just incredible. But she found the space, put the ball, and I like it. Let her take a rip out there. Put her out there. Put her out there on corner kicks too. Yeah, that's a good spot for her to be. So when they clear the ball out, boom, take that rip. Get out of her way. But I like it, man. And then Yazmeen Ryan finally gets her first. I'm hoping this opens the floodgates and she just starts scoring and
yeah,
scoring and scoring and scoring. Man. I know she needed it, and it was with her weaker foot, but she did exactly what she needed to do. She took the defender on 1v1, beat her to the left, and then just curled it in on that left foot around the keeper, right into the net. Beautiful goal. 3-2 in the 68th minute. We still have 22 minutes plus extra time to come on back, man. But yeah, scoring that goal, first goal of the season, finally, we're like, yes. It was friggin' immaculate. It was amazing. Wasn't quite a banger, but it was a golazo for me, man. But I know you were happy when you saw that, and you were already hyped from the Barb scoring just a few minutes later.
it got me hyped for sure. And I was very impressed by technical ability and just being able to score like that, running inside the box. And finally, man, like it's been so long. She's been getting a lot of opportunities to play, and and put a ton of goals in our favor, which is something that we've been missing for years now. And we got it here. Is it if it's a start of something special? I'll definitely welcome that, but something to build out of.
Hey, I, I I'm ready. I'm ready. It's going to open her up, and she kind of talked about it. She's ready to open up in the second half of the season. This team's ready to open up and explore what they've been training and learning. So time to take the training wheels off. Halfway season's pretty much over. That's it. So we got to move on. But man, that's a great segue because she did score. We did not get a goal in the rest of the game and all that extra time. When it as y'all know, it did finish 3-2. And they pushed and tried to score. San Diego tried to score another one on us. We had to save those, but the whistle blows and we lose 3-2, which is yay. But history was made. We scored at home against the San Diego Wave, which we had not done in 3 previous games in Houston. So never to score against San Diego, never to beat them. We got one of those out of the way. We scored against them at home, so we're good. Next time they come to Houston, we're going to be 0-4 against them all time. So, or 0-3-1 against them all time. So we're going to need to break that one next time. But all right, let's move on. And we'll kind of push these a little bit faster because we got the last topic. It's going to be a big one. But Andreas, man, I want to ask you first. Yazmeen Ryan, we're starting her at striker. We know her ability. She can play left wing, right wing. She can play cam. She can play center midfielder. She can play forward. She can play striker. What is Yazmeen Ryan's best position on this team? Well, what's her best position? Forget on this team. What's her best position? Where do you want to see Yazmeen Ryan playing full time? So I guess it is with this team, really, because take all the intangibles into it.
It's I mean it's definitely a complicated question if we're talking national team, but I know that the fact of the matter is that with Houston, I feel like there's more opportunities to score with her as a striker, and we've already have like enough pieces around the midfield that I feel like if she drops back, that's fine. But then we have to move someone else up front. It could just be like, well, Michelle Alosi at some point here and there. But I feel like at this point in time, I think striker will be able to succeed more if we have a complete team and we're just able to be able to provide more for her eventually. Because this is what the team is missing. One of the things the team is missing for sure is just service more than anything. And yeah, I feel like as far as I've seen with this team, she'll be able to succeed up top.
I'm okay with that. I kind of want her on that right wing / forward position to play alongside our striker or next to our striker. Obviously, our striker right now doesn't exist. He's playing the striker position. So if Messiah Bright could step it up and become more technical on the ball and more of a threat as a forward, then maybe she could be that person. Or we need to go find that forward in the summer transfer window to put somebody up there. But I would like to see her alongside, whether it be the left side or right side, depending on who we're playing, who we're using as starting lineup that day. But that's where I would like to see her, and where she could do her best, where she gets to roam around the midfield from the left to the right freely, behind or alongside our striker, whoever that may be, is where she can be best. But at the time of need right now, she needs to play as one of those two forwards up top, and she's playing next to Barb. And they're leaving her alone by herself when we're defending, she's kind of out there on an island by herself, and that's not how she plays, and that's not how her ability works. So, man, we just got to find that striker so she can play, in my opinion, that position. You're saying striker. Maybe with this goal, she can get maybe a breakout, and then we'll be like, okay, yeah, cool, she's our striker. Let's fill other positions now. You're not taking Patterson off. You don't want to take Gary's off. They're doing well on those wings out there. They're defensive wingers anyways. So you're playing a 5-3-2. So she can play the cam, or she can play one of those two forwards up top. But I'd like to see her around the striker. But, all right, that's Yaz. I want to do the same thing for Maggie Graham. And what do you do with Maggie Graham? Because she's been playing all over the place right now. And I think I would like to see her settle down somewhere, to where I think that's what will get her best potential out of her. We saw her highlights at the beginning of the season, but now she's kind of toned down a little bit, and it's just playing good soccer, but not playing that spark that she was earlier. So I'd like to see her a little more centrally, also maybe behind whoever that can, or behind Yaz, something like that, playing with Sheehan and Colaprico right there in the little triangle. So maybe she's kind of the cam in the midfield, playing box to box. What do you think? Same question as with Yaz, but this one is with Maggie Graham.
More so center mid box to box, like you mentioned, and it can just give me flashes of how the way she started the season, just being able to put goal contribution after goal contribution consistently, and it's something that we've been missing ever since. And I feel like just being in that position enables her to have enough freedom to create those type of opportunities, and just be another piece that can offensively bring another dimension to the game, and defensively just being able to block as many opportunities as possible. Because as far as I've seen, that's the best type of success she's been having with this team, and I hope she's able to play like that more often.
Hey, I like her versatility, but let's get her into a position where she can play that naturally every game. But so cool. That's what I wanted to ask about those two players, just to see what we could do. Maybe Fabrice is listening, some things to think about. All right, man. Ready to move on. I'm going to swap the last two topics. We're going to do the NWSL Roundup right now and go ahead and go through the scores and preview North Carolina. And then we'll end with the big topic, because that's going to be the interesting one to me. But NWSL Roundup, man, this last weekend, 7 games occurred. Obviously, Houston Dash hosting San Diego Wave 3-2. FAFC hosted Orlando Pride and only got defeated 1-0. Orlando Pride did get the win. Still counts as 3 points. KC Current were up big against Racing Louisville pretty quick, pretty early. Ended up winning 4-2. Portland Thorns shut out Washington Spirit 2-0. So again, Washington Spirit, man, they're just all over the place this year. Utah gets blanked by Gotham in Utah 3-0, and Gotham even gets a red card in that game. Chicago and Seattle 2-2. Angel City, man, disappointing me. They get another loss, and they get a loss to our next opponent, North Carolina Courage, in Los Angeles, 2-1. So we're facing North Carolina Courage next, 2-1. Anything that highlighted in those games for you, Andres, before we get to the standings?
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I just look at Washington Spirit and I'm like, these guys look so great. Well, then the game against Portland, they're like fall flat, which is kind of disappointing. And man, Angel City, man, that that's kind of disappointing, but they kind of remind me of us sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, but they have such a good attack. They've scored 20 goals this season, and you see their highlights of their goals every game, and you're thinking, hey, they must have had a good game, and then you look and they lost. They are
Yeah,
4-3-5 in the
it's
standings, so
weird.
they're sitting in 10th. But geez, Angel, come on, and we like them. They're friends of ours. But moving
Yep.
on to the standings, man. Obviously, with those wins, Kansas City Current, Orlando Pride are 1-2. And with our gracious 3 points handed over to San Diego, they get to jump into third place with Washington getting shut out. So Washington now is fourth. San Diego is now in third, 23 and 23 points. So KC's up at 5 points, by the way, to holding up the first place, winning the Shield right now. Portland's in fifth. Sixth is Seattle. Seventh is Racing. Eighth is Gotham. So there's your playoff teams right now. 11th is North Carolina Courage, and then your Houston Dash is sitting in 12th place. North Carolina Courage is 4-3-5. That's 3 draws, 5 losses, 15 points. Houston Dash is 3-2-7. 7 friggin' losses already this season. 11 points for North Carolina, man. 16 goals for, 19 goals against, and Houston Dash 12 goals for and 20 goals against. So battle the bottoms, here we go, man. Versus North Carolina, whenever that game is. I forgot to look before I started. It's Saturday night at 6:30. I forgot to look what channel it was on to be technical, but Saturday night at 6:30 in North Carolina. Make sure y'all watch it. Andres will tell us what channel it is on here shortly. But 11th versus 12th place, man. What are you expecting? What do you want to see? Or what do you want to see? What are you expecting? And give me a score prediction. Houston Dash at North Carolina. On what channel?
So the game is gonna be on NWSL Plus,
All right.
and this game has to be different, and it's something that we've been saying for time to time now, and we're running out of room of error.
This
If
game will be
believe it or
the
not,
point of the season.
yeah, and I'm only saying that we're running out of room to make mistakes because, like you said, we're reaching the halfway point of the season. We are the gap between us and the playoff spot is now 4 points. The good news is the pack is still even through seventh place, so we can still climb. But obviously, that means we have to win games, and
Stop losing.
and yeah, yeah, like we still have enough points to spare in between, like at least 5 points, like from 13th place Chicago. So it's still concerning because we want to climb now and stop wasting opportunities like this to climb because the gap is only going to get wider as the season progresses, and we're on halfway point, almost the halfway point of the season. So they have to take advantage of this opportunity. They have to put some sort of attacking mindset going because obviously defensively speaking, we kind of just mentioned that it's defensive awareness, something that they have to work mentally and and just develop that chemistry over time and find out way to better understand the players that are on this team, especially the back line that against San Diego that somewhat got exposed. Granted, San Diego might be like pretty good offensively, but still, like we have to find an opportunity to close out games and get as many goals as we can, considering our current situation. So this is a must-win game. I do see the Dash drawing this game. It could just be like a really even game. So I'm gonna say 1-1.
1-1. What are you doing on the road this year? We've only played 4 games on the road. And North Carolina is 2-1-2 at home with 7 points, 7 goals for, and 6 goals against. So, I mean, they are beatable at home. They're 2-1-2, like I said, so they're 500 at home. And like you always say, we do play better on the road for some reason. So it's the big crowd that they're playing in front of in the shell that makes us go bonkers when they can't play in the first friggin' half. But so against North Carolina, this will be the halfway point. So when we talk next week on the Dash Dispatch here, we will be at the halfway point. So we'll have to, the parity of the league will keep us in the fight, but it's time to start getting points. And this is one of those games where you have to come out. You have to come out with at least 1 point. This is a team that is not functioning well either. North Carolina Courage. So this is a game where if you can play soccer in a good way, this game, you can come out of there with 3 points on the road and move yourself up to 14 points. You still will be sitting in 12th place no matter what if you win this game. Which actually, you know what? We're going to still be sitting in 12th place no matter what after this game, win, lose, or draw. So that's the funny thing. But all right, man, there y'all go. NWSL Roundup. There's the standings. There's the scores for the week. We play North Carolina Courage on NWSL Plus on Saturday night at 6:30. So y'all be ready. I know Andreas is. I know I am. No Dynamo this weekend
Always.
either, so no interference from the boys. So we
Yep.
got only Dash this weekend, not even Dose either. So all you got 6:30. Y'all, and I'm sure there's a watch party going on with the Dash. So y'all make sure if you're in Houston and you're available, you go to the watch party and enjoy the game. And maybe Diesel will be there. You could take a picture with him. Yep. All right. Let's move on to the big one, man.
Always.
To the big one.
Yep.
Past couple weeks, we've been talking about transfer window. We've been talking about the loan availability now with the new rule being implemented. Well, we got the transfer, not the transfer, the trade window is still open as well within the league. So you can trade, you can loan, the transfer window will be opening July 1st. So we've talked about Kat Macaro. Still think there's an opportunity there for her to come here in the summer. Once Chelsea finishes her season, yes, she'll have 1 year left on her contract. We've talked about this 100 times now. I think it's still feasible. I think it's still possible. I still think it would be a good move for her. It'd be a good move for the Dash. And it'd be, she has national team players here to play with on her team. So blah, 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 blah. Kat Macaro, still that one that I think we could make happen. Angela, if you're listening, just make the call and just say hello. You never know. Or as a matter of fact, call Coach Emma Hayes, right? Call her and be like, hey, can you call Kat Macaro? Tell her you come to Houston. This will be a good move for you. You'll be
Get
near
the phone out. Do something. Come on.
Yeah, somebody. Don't let me find Kat Macaro's number. I'll call her. I'll text her first, so make sure I get through before I get blocked. But we'll make it happen. But I have another name to add to the list. Andreas has another name to add to the list tonight of people that are possible names that we should look at from our perspective, our opinion. They're possible names. So, and it's possible for them to come to the Houston Dash. It's also a name, Angela. These names we mentioned, just go ahead, call them all, which I hope you already are. And you're just going to say like, thank you. But Andres, I want to hear your name. I want to hear your person. I want to hear how you intend, if you're the Houston Dash, to go out and get this person and bring this person over to the Houston Dash, man. So who do you have sitting in the oven waiting to become a Houston Dash player?
Mitch Burst.
Oh,
All right,
wow.
hear me out.
All right, yeah, okay,
Hear me
all
out.
right.
Hear me out.
All right, listening.
Look, we need to turn heads around the league, and we are in a position that we need goal creation. We need to find opportunities to get the ball through, break lines, and just be a nuisance altogether. And we did get Yazmeen Ryan, which is great, but we're still having issues with service. We're still having issues with the buildup of the play. And I feel like if we make adjustments to the current roster and send some players back, I think Mitch Purse is just going to be one of those players that it's going to be the difference in games. not just Yazmeen Ryan, but it adds a different dimension to this game. And in a hypothetical situation, of course, because this is my this is how I see it. If it happens, which will be amazing. So
How do
Mitch
you bring
first,
how do you bring mid purse to the Houston Dash?
yes. So as far as I understand, her current deal lasts through this year, but Gotham currently hold an option to extend her for an additional a year or so through 2026 if they agree on a deal. And obviously, if there's a scenario where Gotham want to like get rid of her, get as much resources out of her as possible, if she wants to leave Gotham, is a prime opportunity for us to step in and put a good deal to re-energize this team to just be like potentially an offensive powerhouse if you're able to play your cards right. And the way you can do that is obviously we do have all these mechanisms how like straight cash, and we're no longer have drafts anymore, so we can really trade picks. and and look, we can still trade players if possible. Like if we have to get rid of Messiah Bride or Michelle Losey, obviously that will definitely hurt. But the nature of the business is that this team needs a fresh face. This team needs like some sort of jump start because the way things are right now and the drought of goals that we've been enduring for like the past few years, it has to end. We have to find a way to revitalize this team, and I feel like bringing a player like Reach First or like I've mentioned that in the other episode, like Cat Macario, it would just be like insanity. So that's how I see it.
Not bad. 29 years old, plays the right wing primary position. Not playing much for Gotham right now at all. Only been in 8 games the entire season. Could she help? She could be, and how could we get her? I don't know how much of help. You said it could be something changed that where she fits in with us. So that's something curious. I'd like to hear what the fans that are listening to this show have to say. So y'all over in Dash and Chata and listening on Spotify and YouTube and Apple Music and seeing this on Twitter, comment down below if you would accept Midge Purse to the Houston Dash. Now you could trade, like you said, cash. It would obviously be a cash. Well, I wouldn't say obvious because we have so many players. So you could throw a player in that maybe something a need because they're not using Purse that really that much. And I know she's probably just coming back from injury recently as well. But there could be a player that we're not using that they could use or something like that to make it cheaper where less cash. But we have cash right now, so it's likely to be more of a cash for player trade. Or you could also just loan her to us for the rest of the season. And then they deny her option, and then she becomes a free agent, and then she can come sign with us if she wants to that way. Or we trade for her rights, and we give her the option, or decline the option if she doesn't work out. So that's a good opportunity. I like it, Midge Purse. So hey, like I said, y'all comment below. Let us know. Let us know what you think. Let us know what Andres is pick for a player potential coming to the Houston Dash. How that would work. Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or just say hook 'em. All right, man. Well, I'm not gonna hit one out of the park, but I'm gonna go fishing. I'm gonna go fishing for one,
All right,
and
do it.
it's another big name, and we started off the first show with big names: Captain Cario, Bunny Shaw. I forget who the third girl was that we mentioned, but yeah, because she signed in the French league already. But this player does have rumors of NWSL link for this player coming in. So what NWSL team could it be, and where could that person go? But this person's name, and I apologize to you right now because I know you're listening to the show, and I kind of let you know we're going to talk about you, but so I apologize for butchering your name. But Rashidat, Rashidat Ajibad, Ajibadi. I wasn't able to find the pronunciation. She plays for Atletico Madrid currently. This weekend is her last game, and then she is out of contract with Atletico Madrid. It is a mutual. They're done. They've already said she is gone. She is 25 years of age. That is her primary position, is the right midfielder, but she also plays that striker. She does have a lot of touches, a lot of chances created. 140 games for Atletico Madrid since 2021. She's scored 41 goals in 140 games. And then so this year, seven goals and 17 starts in 22 matches and 3 assists, so 10 goals with a pretty decent rating. Another big thing that catches my eye, and another way that could draw her to Houston. There are links, again, as I preface this, that links to the NWSL to where she may go. But she is of Nigeria, who could also be Michelle Alozia's friend. So I wonder if there's a connection there. But so I know I'm fishing again and just reaching out the park, but wouldn't that be a nice get out there, Andres? Man, what do you think of my
Yes. Yes. Like just reaching out to Atletico Madrid and honestly just being on the hunt for a player that's in a solid position in a European side. I feel like just having that type of ambition definitely sets the tone of what the Dash want to do. And even though I feel like it's more out there than anything else, the sky's the limit, man. Like Angela can pick up the phone, find a player, and man, make it happen because we need to see something. We need to see some ambition right now because this team needs so much, and we need that game changer right now.
Man, that name though, bro, that name and the possibility, the links to somebody in the NWSL, the connection to Michelle Alozia. Come on, Angela. Have you made that call yet? When I say contract is out, she's out of contract. So this is a free transfer. So all you got to do is pay her to come to Houston, and you're good. And so, and when
Come
you
on, do it.
when you ask Google, not Google, but AI, whoopsie daisy. So stupid because I hit the wrong button. But you ask. And you get the stupid AI response right. And her next club after the 24. Wait, where to go? That's not even the right one. But hopefully, it's a possibility. That would be a nice forward that could make a big difference, and then we can build the rest around of it and float it in, and then we wouldn't have to be. You could focus on the defense and get it back under control and under construction. Once you have that attacking piece, and now you feel like you go out there and score goals. So that's my fishing for the day. I hope there's a bite. I hope there's a catch. But we're going to keep fishing every week. So when the rumors start coming in, you heard it here first, right? Or you heard it here first. You don't know what kind of fishermen we are. Well, all you
I
gotta
hope
do is
so. I hope we hear that rumor again.
put the bites out there, right? Put the bites out there and see
Yeah.
what bites. See what bites. So it'll be funny, but hey, we'll keep working on the names. We'll keep working on the names, and as we do every week, unless some big news comes through in between now and the next show, Andreas and I, barring one of us, not barring the bone of being here, of course, we will find more names, and we'll each bring a name to the show next week, and every show after that until we actually sign somebody and declare that it's over. So we're going to keep fishing. So we'll see what fish we have next week. Andreas is going to find another player that is curious and could be a Houston Dash player. I'm going to look a little bit more. I'm still fishing the transfer market. He was kind of fishing in the NWSL market right there because, Christian Press is a good name too as well that goes out of contract with Angel City this season. So there's another one.
She might retire though, but we don't know.
Yeah, you did mention that last week as well, but I wouldn't. I would be okay without Kristen Press anyways, unless she can come back and be some strawberry. She's old. She's good. That's whatever. Blah 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 blah. But Andres, man, I did a double Foxtrot game day this weekend. I went to Dash. I went to Dynamo.
Yeah.
I went to the tailgate. I watched the Unified game after the Dash game. That was friggin' a good game. Houston beat Dallas. Houston Unified beat
The only
Dallas
win of the
Unified.
weekend,
Yeah,
Dynamo Unified, yeah.
for real, the only win. Fire department beat the police department pretty bad though too. So after the Dynamo game,
Yeah.
so that one was pretty bad. But the Unified game, man, there were 7 goals, 4-3, and there were 7 golazos, man. There were some friggin' rips, some bangers. This one beautiful header, but otherwise some rips from almost from midfield, and they were playing like 8v8 style though. So when I say midfield, it wasn't the whole 11v11. But they were just beautiful goals, man, and just every single one of them were beautiful goals. And it was fun watching them, too. And they played 2 25-minute halves. So, Dash ends at 9 o'clock. The players sign autographs for an hour, and then that game starts at 10 o'clock. So it was probably about 11:15 before I got out of the stadium because I stayed and watched that whole game. It was that entertaining. And then the fire department versus
Nice.
police department, that was good. If you watched the double Foxtrot game day, you could see me as I gave my in the game review. They were playing in the background right there. That was kind of fun to watch. They were playing 11v11, but that was more terrible soccer. So, and one referee, so offside didn't exist, and you couldn't tell what offside was. But it was fun. Like I said, the double Foxtrot game day. Y'all go check it out on YouTube, or you can listen to it on any other platform as well. It's better to watch it because it's funner. Then you get to see this ugly mug. You get to see the march into the stadium with the surge and
The best part, yeah.
Yeah, you get to see all kinds of stuff. You get to see my little Instagram post during the games as well, and Andres does a good job at editing all the pictures and all the videos and putting them together and adding some music here and there where you need it and doing all that. So yeah, go check it out. But Andres, tell them where and how to find us and where to find us and all that good stuff before we get the hell out of here tonight.
Yeah, as always, we do have the @Dynamic Foxtrot handle on X, Instagram, and Blue Sky. We also have a second handle on X called Neuro Tiempo. We just like to make sure that we get you guys covered over the course of the season. Like we said before, this is a halfway point for the Dash. We're still gonna be covering them no matter what, and man, we just gotta pull for those playoffs, pull for that magic signing that hopefully they'll make by the time the transfer window opens. But I digress. Also, wherever you are listening to us right now, you can always search No Tiempo. All of our podcasts are going to be under one place, wherever you listen or whatever you watch. The best place to watch, like always you just mentioned, our YouTube channel, Foxtrot TV. Just search in the search bar. We're going to be the first result. This is the best place to watch us, our content, and everything that we put out. And the double Foxtrot game day, like OSG just mentioned, it was a bit of work because OSG got a lot of material in, and it was a lot of content regardless of the result. So I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't already. 2 games happening at the same time, and I always like doing those. And one of our newest features that people really enjoy now, and also a way to keep up with the post game material. So press conferences, mixed zone stuff. It's pretty good. So I recommend catching that out. And that's on our YouTube channel, Foxtrot TV. We're also going to be on Goals TV.
And remember, people, as you mentioned, the press conference is at the end of all of our Foxtrot game days that we do. And we do them when we go to games. So if they're an away game, you're not going to get a Foxtrot game day. Only when we're there in Houston will you get a Foxtrot game day. But like you said, the press conferences and any mixed zone interviews we get with players are always in these Foxtrot game days. So you don't got to go search for them through the team. We're on YouTube. They're in our episodes right there with game days, man. So like you said, go check them out. But yeah, continue.
That's right. No, you're good. I mean, that's right. And Goals TV is another platform that we like to use for video. Also a good platform for other soccer content creators like us to reach out, put their content out there just to be known. And I highly recommend checking it out if you haven't already. So that's actually spelled with the Z towards the end. So it's going to be goals.tv/@Foxtrot if you want to check out our channel. Or you can just go to the home tab and just look for other creators. And yeah, go check it out if you haven't already. But other than that, we'll always be here. We're for the Dash. We're for Dynamo. We're for those. But man, we always have a soft part for the Houston Dash.
Always. Enjoy going to those games. Enjoy
Always.
watching that team play. I mean, it is fun. And like you said, Dose as well. Dynamo, Unified, Fire Department versus Police Department. So it was a good weekend, a lot of games, but none of them were in results that were positive except for the Unified game. So then Dallas packing back home. We were up 4-1 in that game, so we kind of let them come back as well. And it was kind of scary going down to the end. I was like, here we go. I hope this game doesn't end in a damn tie. But they held on, and our keeper made some good saves, man. He made some good saves. And this keeper wasn't quite aware, but the ball was coming, and he got in the way. So it was a beautiful game to watch. Had fun. So as Andrea said, y'all know where to follow. Y'all know where to see us. So again, I'm going to ask y'all, whatever platform you see this on, or listening to, or watch on, or see the tweet or the Instagram post, comment on it and tell us if you agree about where Yazmeen Ryan should play, where Maggie Graham should play. And if you want to agree with us on these names that we're mentioning coming to the Dash, tell us if you agree with us. Tell us, hell no, you're so off base. You could also add names if you want to. Give us some hints. Maybe a name that you mentioned to us will make it on the show next time. And that name, I like to name them because I believe there is a chance, whether it be 1% chance or 99% chance. I believe 1% chance with the name I made today because she's free. She has the NWSL link. She has the Logia in the contacts. So there's chances. All these names we're mentioning, there's a chance, man. There's a chance. But hey, y'all have to stay tuned next week to see who the next people are we're going to mention. We're going to mention Kat every week until it happens, by the way.
Speak it to existence.
Yeah, we're going to have to manifest it, as they say, manifest it into existence. But y'all, this is the Dash Dispatch. We throw our H's up, and we're going to see y'all next time, which will be next week. But Andres, the Masons are up. We're ready to go beyond. We'll see y'all next time. I'm OSG. This is the Dynamic Foxtrot. Peaches up.
That is going to do it. Big win for San Diego on the road, but what a comeback, Jill, from Houston.